It's the Blue Room. It is Blue Monday. We are here in the Bridewell, the Denby Castle's sister pub. For those who aren't familiar with the city, I am joined by Dave Downey and Les Roberts on this wonderful bank holiday. Dave, how are you doing?
I'm alright. It feels weird having a bank holiday, doesn't it? And it's edging towards the end of the season. Feels like the season's been going for about 4 years or something, doesn't it? For taking so long to stay up. But yeah, everyone loves a bank holiday Monday, don't they? One in May as well. Shows you it's heading towards the end of the season. And yeah, I think everyone's going to be pretty thankful it is going to be the end of the season and we can enjoy some time away from not absolutely crying our eyes out when you think Everton's going to go down.
Les, how about you?
Yeah, as Dave said, it's always nice to have a bank holiday. I was checking the weather for next week and it's going to be short weather for the final game of the season.
I was thinking about that today.
And that is all we can ask for, so I'm really looking forward to that now. It's like, as you get to the end of the season, you just want the weather to be nice, don't you? And
yeah.
we can just go out and have a nice day now on Saturday, not having to worry about beating Sheffield United particularly, just enjoy it. So yeah, I'm all good.
I think the last time I remember a short day, last game of the season with nothing to play for, was when we drew 1-1 with Southampton, and Tom Davis scored, I think, like very late on. I think we had 10 men, or they had 10 men, something like that, and it was absolutely fun. I think Allardyce was our manager then.
Yeah. Unsurprisingly, I had left before Tom Davis scored. But yeah, it was. No, we scored dead late, didn't he? We were getting beat, weren't we, for ages, and then
Nathan Redmond scored for them or something.
Yeah, that's what we want. Just meaningless end of season fixtures.
Yeah. With that in mind, we're going to talk about something that extends beyond this season. Because the Luton game almost feels too far away to talk about now. Friday night, here we are on Monday. So I had an idea, sort of run it by you lads, that we sort of go through the squad, position by position, and just sort of talk about who we want to be here next season and who we don't. And listen, people who are watching this and listen to this are going to go, well, obviously we'd sell anybody with our crippling financial situation at the moment. Just imagine that's not a thing for a bit. And we'll sort of do it as we will. So we're going to start off with the defence/goalkeeper for this one. And we're going to go through the players, sort of quick fire, maybe a few we dig on a little bit more detail, and go through which players you want to be here next season, which ones we don't. And if you're watching this and listen to this, it'd be great to get your thoughts on this as well. Anyone watching on YouTube there, this the environment we're in, it's live recorded. People might walk past the camera, it's absolutely fine. So, going to start off with the goalkeepers. Dave, the one man we definitely can't lose, 100%, been such a great server for us. Like, around the place for so long, Andy Lonergan can't go. I know you're such a big fan.
Oh, mate, he really can't. You know, he's just the best in terms of morale that he sets up there, playing keep-ups, you know, game of headers with the kids in the academy and all that.
Great in the warm-up as well, keeping Pickford going.
Exactly.
Kicks the ball great on him, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and you know, I think he's great at making cups of tea and all that. Probably putting some ready brek sort of for when the lads get in early in the morning. I think he needs to be kept.
Les?
I'm all day, yeah. I do watch intently at those warm-ups, and he does keep those volleys down well for Pickford. It's quite an art form when you're warming a keeper up like that. So yeah, stay. It's got to be part of the furniture now.
Is that the best job in the world, being a fair choice goalkeeper?
It's like Scott Carson. At Man City, they've made it an art now. You imagine they just rock up to training, and it's like he could come in bladdered. You know what I mean? He could do what he wanted. He's got all the kits. He's got everything. We were looking at the rumoured finances that they're on, and you know, if he's sitting there taking a few grand a week, I'd be on cloud nine if I was in. You know, absolutely nothing.
What do you reckon he's on?
Worry about. Wasn't he on 300,000 a year according to that list or something?
I think if we recall that list, which important to mention, it isn't guaranteed. We don't really know what this is. It's rumoured, but I'm almost certain it was around like $5,000 a week, something like that. Which you know, we're never going to earn that in our lives. Which gives me a massive issue that it's him still earning money to towie the ball at Pickford throughout training. Do you even think he has a game in like five-a-side? I don't even think he does that. You know,
he plays out.
Even in the five-a-side games, though, it's going to be Pickford in goal in one end and Virginia in the other. It's like, what does he do? Is he just the referee or something during the games? Like, Oh, sensational. But yeah, Lonners are sticking around.
Do you know what though? I can't believe you actually spoke like the first 5 minutes of this show. We were like, let's be as distinct we can about the players we're not really asked about. He's probably got the primary part of the show where we've opened the conversation with him.
There we go. I just know you're a big fan, so I wanted to start off with that guy.
That's how important he is.
That is, yeah. With all seriousness, Pickford, are we expecting offers this summer? Like obviously my colleague at the Echo, Joe Thomas, reported this week that reports of Chelsea's interest was kind of met by surprise by his camp, and he's very happy at Everton, which I always kind of find a bit mad, Les, and obviously very grateful for it. But I've always thought with Pickford, like the thing with him will be that as long as he's playing regularly for us and he's getting in the England team every single week, and I don't know if things will change after the World Cup, the Euros with a new manager potentially, and others coming through, but I just feel like as long as he's playing week in, week out, and he's being the number one, he'll be fine where he is.
Yeah, I've always thought, and I think you may have said this yourself, it seems like England is the one where he goes for the glory.
Yeah.
So the tournament football, the semi-finals, the finals, and let's be honest about it, he should have a Euros medal under his belt, because as a goalkeeper, he did enough in that final to get a medal. So if he's happy in the area, he's happy at Everton, which he clearly is, there's no reason to move. Now, he's 30 now? Yeah. So, this is potentially one of his last chances to get a big move. It's Euros year. He's going to be putting himself out there, maybe not intentionally, but I was surprised that Man United never came in for him, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
And when it got Onana, because I think the difference he would have made to their team would have been incredible. But there is this thing about him, isn't there, where people don't seem to trust him. He gets a bad press, which none of us understand. I can't understand it. Even from our own fans, I've seen people saying, you know what, I will cash in on Pickford. I'd keep Branthwaite and sell Pickford if we had to. I don't agree, because he can still be our keeper for the next 5 years. I think we lose Jared Branthwaite in 2 at most. So he's got to stay for me. He's been everything for this club for the last 3 years.
I don't fully agree with what you've said there, Les. Just in a couple of... I mean, how good he's been for us is unquestionable. I think even though when he gets a bit hotter, there's still people just immediately turn to, he's doing me head in, and, he needs to go and all that sort of thing. I would be surprised if he's still at Everton in the next 3 years. I think... I hate to say this, and people might hate me saying this, but I think if he's got the ambition that you think he should have as a top-class goalkeeper, he wouldn't be at Everton. He's not an Everton fan. And I actually think he stayed far longer than I would have expected him to. He came to us, he's been there nearly 9 years now.
Has anyone properly made a play? Has any club really seriously? There's always been little rumours, hasn't there? But no club has ever been right, we really want you. Has anyone ever made a bid for him since he's been at Everton? Really? And
that's astonishing. I am astonished. Well, firstly, if they haven't, but we would have heard rumours that they had done. And I think, what you said there, Matt, I think at face value, I think, him getting and enjoying the way he is, I think Sean Dyche came out and said that post-match the other day, one of the games through the week. And he's the type of player, I think it's a bit of a throwback thing, to be honest with you, because this day and age, which, last couple of decades, the players are almost always linked with something else. And like you say there, Pickford hasn't, and I do find it quite strange that that's not been the case, really. You talk about if we were to sell him, what sort of fee you're looking at with him. That's got a lot to do. We don't want to bang on about this with every single player we're talking about here, but it's a bit of a car boot sale, isn't it? Let's be honest here. How many can we reject a fee that have come in? The good thing about him, or the positive thing about that, is he's got about 15-year contract or something, hasn't he? So you will get a considerable fee for him. And look, I guess you get a lot of people, the club itself, whoever's around there now, thinking that, you know what, is replacing a goalkeeper as difficult as replacing a Branthwaite or a midfield players that we have? Or
I thought you were going to say a centre forward.
I was going to say, I just stuttered that in my mind then, just that or a left back in Michalenko.
How short is the centre forward bit of this show going to be in a few weeks' time?
Exactly.
Sell.
Get a tenner for Beto. I mean, That's the thing. Yeah, but in general, I don't think he'll finish his time at Everton. I think we're lucky to have him, and hope he's with us, because let's be fair. You look back at the recent seasons, he gains us, and I think I explained this in a really difficult way, but I'm going to try and do it now. The positive or negative in regards to points we've got because of Jordan Pickford are massively on top of what we probably would have if we had a weaker or a different goalkeeper. So that for me it's imperative that he stays at Everton, given where we are right now, and given that the summer we're probably not going to have.
Yeah, I just think one more thing on that, as well as talking about that shop window, obviously with the Euros, you've also got the Golden Glove situation this season, where he has come very close to a keeper who might yet win the title. So for a goalkeeper in the team that he's in the position that the team's been in, to get that close to the Golden Glove, if people aren't taking notice of that, then you've got to wonder what is the motivation, what are they seeing? So, yeah.
What's the money that he's on, by the way? He can have whatever he wants, as far as I'm concerned.
I assume he'd be on like 100 grand, you'd imagine. But unanimous keep for our main keeper. João Virginia, fine, isn't he? He's a backup. I think I don't want to go too much into it, but like he's been sound, hasn't he, whenever he's been called upon?
I saw enough of him in about 2 games this season to think, you know what, he looks like a good understudy. Yeah. His kicking was sound. I think, did he play against Palace?
Yeah, he
played really well in both games, didn't he? Yeah, so I think, as an understudy keeper, sound. He is about 23 now, though, isn't he? 24.
I thought he was older than that. Really
he's around that age, so I suppose that one's on him now, isn't it? Whether he, if Pickford is staying, does he want to, we had this for years with Southall, where the keepers who came and went because they're just never getting in. It's the same situation, so I suppose this one's probably on him.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it is important. Keepers get injured all the time. You got Pickford there, who obviously isn't the biggest of lads. You got big fellas just throwing themselves at him all the time. You often see him on the floor rolling his shoulder or something like that. I mean, he seems decent. He seems better.
That Palace Cup win, wasn't he? Goodison. Like, I know Gomez got the free kick, got the.
Yeah.
So, as a backup goalie, like, he feels like one of the better ones in the.
Feels like Robles, maybe a bit of Robles that we had. So not a problem with that. It depends on how much money we can get for him. It would be if you get $1 million for him, he'd be getting driven out to Goodison by whoever's left on the board.
So keep all the goalies as they are.
As much of a joke it was at the start. If Lonergan's on $5,000 a week and we're in such a severe financial condition, I'm sorry, but he needs to go to the pits or whatever and just start coaching the kids or retire. I mean, that's far too much money to be on Everton Football Club.
Dave Downey turns on Lonergan. There's the title of the.
There's the title, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Surely there's like a 16-year-old goalie who's quite good. Billy Crellin,
Is that who it is? Because I put in our WhatsApp group. Who is Billy?
Well, they got
Harry Tyler, isn't it?
Yeah, Harry Tyler as well. Yeah, they got promoted, didn't they? And apparently he's had a good season. So whether he'd want to stay be fair choice is another matter. But we've got young goalies who surely can sit on the bench for a year and play in the 23s or whatever it is. But defence, then we'll move on. We'll start right and we'll go across to left back. There's a lot in this position, so we'll rattle through them. One of the big ones, and again, like, this is obviously sell, keep, but in some instances it's offer a new deal or not. The most contentious one, potentially the most emotionally difficult one, Seamus Coleman, Les. I sort of feel like he might call it quits at the end of the season. And I think we were talking about this the other week in some capacity, and how he might want to do the last season at Goodison, he might want to do the first season at Bramley Moor, but I think Seamus is the sort of character who, if he doesn't feel like he can contribute properly on the pitch, I don't think he'll want to stick around for the sake of it and just sort of be a fellow in the dressing room who knows the football club. And I'm a little bit worried that when he has come in the last few weeks, it's not been like the last few seasons where he's come in and been sound and defensively solid, and he's given us something a bit different. I just think back to that Bournemouth game and not getting out to the cross, chesting in the own goal in the last minute, and I just worry that maybe he has just gone beyond that point. So I sort of expect them to hang it up a little bit at the end of the season, but I also wouldn't be surprised if the club went, listen, we love you, thanks for everything you're doing, but if you're going to be here next season, it's going to be as a coach as opposed to a footballer.
Yeah, I think he's picked up a lot more injuries this season as well. You can see, the age he's at, the career he's had. He's a player who's non-stop, isn't he? As you said, he's got to give 100% every game, and that does take a toll. It will be interesting to see, though, as you say, this will be a big test of where the club sees itself going now, because in the past, sentimentality would have kicked in and it would have just been, give him another year. You're right, it's going to be a good indication of where the club sees itself and possibly how much shit the club's in if they feel they need to get rid of him. I would love to keep him on because, as you say,
I absolutely love to keep him on,
because he does seem to be invaluable in these relegation scraps we've had every year. He's done things each season that have been invaluable to the club, whether it's just being a part of the dressing room or scoring that goal against Leeds. He's always done something. But as you say, this year he's been targeted more than ever. He's picking up more injuries than ever. So it would be sad to see him go, but I can fully understand why the club would do that.
I often bang on about sentiment. I think I mention that on every single podcast we do. The way I think we're the biggest club for throwing sentiments, and that's because we haven't been successful for many years. I think you get attracted to players more so than you probably should do. The exception is Seamus. It probably was the same with Baines as well, where it's quite ironic really, because I always thought Baines retired far too soon. Whereas Seamus, I mean, in the situation.
Also, he's gone on too long though. I felt like at the end of last season,
Coleman.
He was a player.
Sorry.
I feel like him to carry on this year was the right decision. But I just don't know if it's the right decision now.
I don't mind them being regarded as somebody who brings somebody like a Patterson and, to a recent extent, Godfrey into educating them in that role. It might be a little bit patronising towards Patterson, but that's a different issue that I'm sure we're going to talk about in a sec. I think it's essential to have somebody like that in the dressing room, given the circumstances we're in. How that works out with him, I mean, we've got Baines in the academy right now. I wonder what the thoughts are of Seamus Coleman. I would suggest, or I would think, that fella doesn't want to leave Everton and he would stay on in any capacity, just given the type of individual he seems he is. As a player, though, would I have him as somebody on the bench? Yeah, I think I would keep him on. I think fee-wise,
when is he in the right back pecking order? Who's your you got to do the right backs, and just in your head for now, because I'm sure we'll get onto this later. Where's Coleman in that list?
That's a really good question, Matt. I think if we're going through the trio that we've got there,
we've got four, haven't we? Godfrey as well.
And you put Young in there.
Yeah.
They're the four.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd put him ahead of Ashley Young, probably on par with Godfrey, and I'd love to see Patterson be the man that's there. I'd love him to be the right back that he should be, and I think he is, but for one reason or another hasn't been. I'm not sure what the relationship is with Sean Dyche, but there's been some sort of issue why he hasn't had more game time there. I know he's been injured quite a bit, but we're talking about a lad there that's an incredible talent, I think, as a right back player. So probably. Sorry, I am banging on the very thing we spoke about just before.
No, I just read Patterson.
Oh, sorry, okay. I think that's a really hard decision there, but he's still going to get a game.
So you're saying keep?
I'm saying keep, yeah. I'm saying keep.
Coleman.
Yeah, keep.
I'd leave it up to him.
No, you can't sit on the fence. Come on.
I'll probably keep it for another year. I would, but I would be concerned about him being our starting right back, is what I'd say.
Oh yeah,
but he'd have to be. Well, he wouldn't have to be. Well, again, going back to what I said about Patterson and Dyche having some sort of issue with one another, given the fact that I think Patterson got slapped by him or something like that.
Let's go on to Patterson then.
Okay.
Next, and I'll let you go first. You said you think he's going to be, he could be an incredible talent.
Yeah.
I am genuinely intrigued. What have you seen from him in an Everton shirt that makes you think that he can be that good?
I wouldn't say so much in an Everton shirt, which sounds strange because I'm talking about him being a priority right back. what I've seen from him everywhere else, obviously much different when he was up at Rangers, but also for Scotland as an international himself. I think you got a right back that just needs, he's just a bit rough around the edges, I think. But you've got someone with undoubted talent to play in that role. When I've seen him come on and seen him start games, I've seen issues from him. Don't get me wrong. I've seen him particularly with how he sort of links up with whoever's in front of him on the right hand side. This season's been Harrison there. Who, last few games he's actually been really good. But I do have issues with him there. But I just think what I've seen from him, I think he's going to be a top class right back. Now the issue with having him in there is, can Everton afford to have somebody starting games who still needs to learn their Premier League trade? I'd say now, no, which sort of completely contradicts what I said there, but I'd like to see him as Everton starting right back, because essentially you spoke about there, Young, Coleman, Godfrey, which is a really interesting one we'll probably move on to now. I think he should be given the chance ahead of those three.
Yeah, I'm not. I think, sort of as Matt was alluding to, I'm not actually seeing anything from him that suggests he's going to be dead good. Partly that could be down to he's never really had a good run of games, through whether the manager doesn't fancy playing him or he's injured. He's never really had that run. The overlapping thing's an interesting thing as well, because when I've seen him play for Scotland, he looks like the sort of fullback who will get down the line, overlap the winger. Doesn't do it so much at Everton, which just makes me think that's where that comes from the manager. Yeah. Maybe that's where, if they have had a falling out, maybe that's where that's come from, because he wants to play a certain way, the manager's saying no. And as a fullback, as a Birkenhead Sunday League Division 2 fullback, I would have hated if I couldn't get forward, because that was like, it's just, as a fullback, that's what you want to do. You want to get forward and make those runs. So I reckon if we got the money we paid for him, I would sell.
Totally agree.
But I don't think we will get the money we paid for him, so I don't know.
Well, I was going to say about that that's where it's a bit of a catch-22, because you're not getting anywhere near 20 million, was it?
No, it was like 12, wasn't it? Yeah.
Or was it 12? Fair enough, yeah. I still don't think you're getting anywhere near that amount, given the fact, or in a Premier League side. I don't think I think Rangers probably may come back in for him. I'm not going to pay 12 million quid to get him back. That's why I think there's an issue there, and that's why I wouldn't sell. Because what are you going to make back from him? You're not talking. I don't think you're going to get anywhere near what we've paid for him. So I think that's where there'd be a bit of a block if they do want to let him go. But I'd keep him. The caveat to that is, I'm less encouraged to keep him, given the situation we're in. And we can probably say that with most players, really, can't we? So I won't mention that too much going forward, but yeah, keep him, and I want to see him improve. I want to see him play. I want to see him start as our right back.
As much as you say all that, though, you won't really. Like that's the thing. Like and that's sort of where I am with him. Like, I like his attitude at times. I think that spell he had, like in Lampard's first full season when he was in the team and he was playing well, I was like, right, the makings are there of something good from him. Like, I never really quite. Like, if I said to both of you now, like, what's the best part of Nathan Patterson's game? What would you say?
Fair question.
I
think he's a good. I think he's a good right back.
You can't just say he's a good right back. Like, what?
I was going to finish there.
Like, what's his highest rating? Like, on Footy Manager, what's his highest attribute?
His pace. He's a quick lad.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is he quick? Is he quick?
He is quick. Yeah.
I don't think he's like that quick. I mean, he's like I'd say he's average speed for a fullback in the Premier League.
Is that bad? The average speed of a Premier League fullback?
But like, we're talking about his best attribute. No.
Could he beat a cheater in a foot race? That's the big question.
that's one for mailbag, isn't it?
Like, if we're talking about his best attributes, you're saying his pace is and his average speed.
I'm saying his pace as a right back, i.e., if someone gets past them, he can catch up with them. And I'd add to this, which whether this, obviously you're the judge on this, whether you can actually. No. I mean that in terms of you asked the question. If we've got a Fab Four there, a right back, what's the alternative?
I think ultimately, if we keep Coleman, which we all said we would for another year, if we keep Young, which we'll come on to in a bit, but I think we probably will for another year. Godfrey's got another year left on his deal, so he'll probably stay. I think he's our fourth choice right back, and under this manager, he is our fourth choice right back, and I think the proof's in the pudding there with who he's picked. He's had a falling out with him. And I think for us in our situation at the moment, so if a manager doesn't fancy him, to be financially crippled, if we get any kind of offer for him in the summer, I think he goes, like 100%.
Yeah, I mean, in the context of what you said there.
Look, again, the thing that I liked most about him when he played in the team for a bit and was playing really well was his attitude and his intensity. And that's just gone. It's completely gone whenever I've seen him pull on a blue shirt recently. And he can't get, the manager doesn't fancy him, can't stay fit, which is a huge issue. That's probably the biggest issue more than anything, not the manager doesn't like him or he's fourth choice. He can't stay fit. So I feel like if we get an offer in the summer, I think the manager will look at it and go, well, we've got Coleman, we've got Young, and we've got Godfrey, and listen, they're not amazing options. Two of them are very much intertwined in their careers, but we are a football club at the moment who are living hand to mouth. And I think if we get any kind of offer for them, like Les said, 10 million or something like that, I think that they would be happy to move him on.
It is difficult not to consider the context of that, and I will admit, if Everton in better condition than they are financially is someone you will keep, and then try to develop a lot better than that. But yeah, I mean, I do concede that he would get sold if the offer comes in.
I totally get where you're coming from, but I don't. It sounds really harsh because I like when he was playing under Lampard. There's loads of things to like about him, his attitude. But I look at him now, and it's what is there to develop? What are you looking at there with that player and going, right? I see something new. And again, I might be totally wrong here because I see people every single week on Twitter being like, that lad needs to play, get him in the team, Patterson's got to start, and I was like, why? What genuinely, what is he really good at as a player? I don't quite see it as others do, and that's why I think I'll be quite happy to, not happy to move him on. That's not the right way of phrasing it, but I would understand if the club got a offer in the region of 10 million, they would sell him. Yeah.
You're pulling my leg a little bit here with that. I'm probably somewhere. No, I want to keep him. I keep.
Sell if the right offer comes in.
I'm the same as Les. Sell as well. So
just going back on that, just one thing I want to. Is that based on the finance? I know we're going to do this with a lot of the players here, based on the finances. That always has to be in there. But again, I asked that question. If we didn't have those issues, would you still sell them?
I think it's down to a deteriorating asset as well.
Yeah.
Which does play into the finances, but if, as Matt said, if he's not going to get a game, you might as well sell him.
Can't stay fit.
And that is another
We wouldn't know that if he doesn't play.
He can't play because he can't stay fit.
But he is.
Chicken and egg story, really.
For a lad in his early 20s, he's had a lot of injuries now, and it's they're the sort of things that at the start of your career, if they stack up, it just can have massive implications. So, yeah, I think a decent offer comes in. Sell.
What's a decent offer though?
I mean, 10 million.
Around 8 to 10 mil.
But given what you said there, does that contradict in terms of you're going to get 10 million for somebody who's injured and doesn't play?
You just say he's an amazing talent, so I'm sure someone will come in.
There's somewhere in the middle for that one, aren't we?
But yeah, I feel like that's the most contentious one. This one might be quite quick. Ashley Young, obviously his contract's up. He's on Monday Night Football tonight as we're watching this. I don't think he's been amazing, but I think for another year, I'd keep him around for another year. Absolute no-brainer for me, Les.
No, I'd let him go.
Yeah.
I think he's. He does an alright job sometimes, but I think thinking back to the Forest game, he can be a liability. He is definitely getting on. He's pushing 40 now.
He's not going to retire, likely.
Yeah, he might do. Yeah, and teams are targeting him this year. They will target him again next year. I think just let him go. Just say, you know what, you did okay at times. That season, brilliant to put me on. But I think Dice was in the same team as him a while ago. Clearly, that's how long he's been around.
Probably younger than him.
Yeah, clearly loves him, so I can see him staying. But I would move him on personally.
Yeah, I mean it's thanks, mate, but we'll see it again and give you the ticket in the director's box. That's all I do with him, really. The last 3 games, I actually think he's been really, really good, to be fair to him. Professional lad as well. But yeah, you've got to get rid of him, and it's interesting if you include that with what we've just spoken about with Seamus Coleman, the sentiment thing as well. Because I wouldn't say Seamus has been any better than him, really, because he hasn't played that many games. So by and large, though, you've got to get rid.
Just quickly, one thing on that. to his credit, he doesn't get injured.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is not something we can say about anybody else who plays right back, including Ben Godfrey, who I guess we'll come on to now.
Is this still a dig at me wanting Patterson to stay? By the way?
So Young, I would keep on the caveat he never plays in midfield again.
Or take a corner.
Oh, he's been well binned off on corners, hasn't he? But again, I wouldn't be desperate to keep him, but I could see the benefits of keeping him around for one more year. So I'm saying keep just.
I can see the benefit, but I'm saying release.
Bin now before you can go before the 2 games.
There we go. Ben Godfrey, Dave, I think is a really interesting one. He's got 1 year left on his deal. Has come into the team at various times this season and done really well. And do you know what? Weirdly, I always feel like with Godfrey, like he's one of those players. Like the more he plays, I always feel like the worse he gets. Like it's like I feel like whenever he comes back into the team after a while, I'll just like, right, oh, you've done fine there. But he had that spell, didn't he, where he was playing right back for a bit, and then he kept like conceding goals with crosses that were going over his head. And he came out, and then he come back into the team again recently. He's been really good again. Like, but I would keep him again. But again, this is obviously caveated by if we get a good offer for him, got 1 year left on his deal, it makes sense to move him on. But I think I've said this before on these podcasts, but I think if you look at Dyche and what he wants from his players, what he wants from his team, Godfrey should be able to fit in quite well with that. He's not going to be a right back that's going to be exposed very often because the winger will ultimately be quite deep and protect him. And even for all the things that have gone the last few years, all the poor performances, sometimes you watch him and just think, that lad's just got something about him. I don't quite know what it is, but he has got something about him. So I'll be more than happy to see him stay for another year. Beyond that, I don't know. But next year, right back, left back, occasionally centre back, I think he's a good option to have around.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he's been far too much of a headless chicken for me at times. And you look at some of the positions he ends up in, I'm thinking, has he actually learned? I mean, maybe where you feel sorry for him a little bit is if you're trying to be a versatile player that goes across a back 4, then is that by all means because they don't specifically have a distinguished position where you're thinking, he's that position, he's the one I want there. And I really like him. I think when he burst onto the scene, everybody was buzzing. And I think that still goes in his credit for me because he has got that talent, undoubtedly so. How many times are we going to say about these players? We're talking about the manager. And I agree. I think he's certainly higher up than Patterson, isn't he? And probably Seamus, and probably Young. I'm talking. Yeah, I'm going through that really. I don't mind him being that. I think he's a really talented lad. I just think he's very raw. And what's his age now? Is he
24, 25?
Is he moved on to that, has he? So every time I see him, I still think he's about 19. Because that's what keeping in mind when he first broke through to us. But, the caveat to that is you get to a point where at that age you think, is there ever a point where he's going to learn anything different here? But yeah, keep. Also, I don't think you're going to get a lot of money for him anyway.
Yeah, same. I don't think any decent offers would come in from him because he has been injured and, as you say, he can't really nail down a position. He's played all across the back 4. I think we did buy him as a centre half, didn't we?
Yeah.
He did well for Ancelotti as a left back, filling in there. I think he's got everything you need to be a good fullback. He's fast, he's strong, and that's basically all you need to be a good
fullback. Can't kick the ball very well, though. No, I think that's the thing with him.
I'm thinking a good fullback in the El Barrett mode.
Yeah.
Where you're just basically a defender.
He put a great Dyche fullback on.
Is he Terry Field?
Yeah. Put a shit up winger ahead of him, and he could be exactly what you need there. Yeah. But as you say, Matt, the more he plays, the worse he gets, and that's an issue. But I think keep. Definitely keep.
You're keeping him after what you just said about him there.
Yeah.
The worst. Shrug of the shoulders. Quit. We've got loads of money.
Well, just play him for 3 games. Put Nathan Patterson in for 2. He'll get injured. Put Ben Godfrey back in the sound.
He'll go boss for them 2 games only.
I'll definitely keep him. I feel like his best position is on the right of a back 3. Playing as the right centre back. So obviously for us, he's not going to play that because Dyche doesn't play back 3 really. But I'll definitely keep him around, but obviously we're going to have a big decision to make if an offer does come in at any point.
Oh, can I just say on him though? I think again the 3 games we've just had, he's been really good.
Yeah. It's great to the derby, wasn't he, against Diaz? Made a great tackle on the line.
Yeah.
And those goal line clearances, he's good at them.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. But I feel those games which are not overly intense, but really intense games. That's where you get the best out of him. You know, look at games that we've sort of laboured through at Goodison. That's when you don't really need him, because his attributes are very much like I said there, the intensity of a derby. I don't mind throwing coffee in a Merseyside derby. Don't mind it thrown in an FA Cup game if we get to a decent stage of it. I think he's great, which is sort of weird really, because it should be, and I think it is, the complete opposite for most players. That's when they start to struggle, when it gets more intense. But like I said, I think he's a headless chicken. If you get someone to teach him a little bit more about that, i.e. Seamus Coleman, if he stays on, you've got the makings of a really good right back.
They've been there together for like 3 or 4 years now.
Yes. But Seamus, being the ultimate professional, is going to say, Ben, just watch me in training, mate. But now he can, if he's not there, he can actually go and work with him. Do you know what I mean?
I just think we need to, Godfrey's need to embrace what he is, and he's an amazing athlete who will do mad things now and then. But if you get bodies around him and protect him, he can shut down a wide player. Yeah. If he's got small spaces to get to a defender, to get to an attacker, and put them under pressure, shut them down, and say, "Go on, try and beat me for pace on the outside, or try and cut in." And it's congested, he will be fine, because he can go and be aggressive, and that is his game. And I think that is ultimately what we're going to be on the dice. We're not going to have a wide player that's going to be marauded miles forward. So I think for now, under this manager, it certainly makes sense. We've got 4 more players to talk about. 3 of them I think are very obvious ones. So we'll rattle through some of them now. James Tarkowski, Les, he's got 2 more years left on his Everton deal. He's been absolutely fine. No summers of interest throughout the summer. Keep him around, doesn't miss a game. 6, 7 out of 10. He's boss, isn't he?
Yeah, there's absolutely no reason to get rid of him. He's first choice centre back. As you say, he's just a very no nonsense centre half. Loves the aggro. Yeah, keep. Yeah, no brainer that.
Yeah, it's a no brainer. I've seen him have a few issues recently though. Also, again, going back to what he's saying, what would you get for him? I mean,
weird. He's 32, is he? 2 years left.
You get a good few clubs there.
I think he's seen us 2 years, isn't he? Let's be honest.
I
think he's the top 10 Premier League centre back.
Yeah. Do you know what? Looking at it that way, that makes it essential that you keep him in there. I think you're about to get on to who's going to be alongside him, no way.
Well, so Tarkowski, keep.
Yeah.
Tarkowski is staying around. Jared Branthwaite, we would love to keep, obviously.
Sell him.
But what's he worth, Les? Now,
this is it, isn't it?
What sum would you look at and be comfortable with in the summer if he did go? And say, do you know what? As much as we're in financial ruin, that's a good deal for us, really.
I mean, I think you look at him and you think you want to be talking upwards of £80 million, but we're not going to get that unless he goes the Euros and he plays and he has a good Euros, which could happen.
Squads now, so.
But he won't.
Yeah.
He'll go, but he probably won't play. Barring someone getting injured or something like that. So I think we're quite limited on how much we'll get from him. We'll probably get rinsed for about 50, the same as we did with John Stones. I think he's a better.
I'll sell him for 50.
You have to though. That's
but I'm not sure. I'm not sure they'll be able to turn it down. So the Premier League wants us to sell him for 15 million, didn't they, to PSV? Thankfully, the club said no at that foresight. But he's one of those where I'd like him to stay for another year. Do this again at Everton, and then you can probably have to pick of anyone. The alarming thing for me is he could end up going to Man United for 50 million. And that's what worries me, because I think that would be a bad move.
The worst thing that could happen is he went to somewhere like Newcastle or Spurs, because he is. I remember that was Stones when it was sort of going to Chelsea and they were a bit of a. They weren't as bad as they are now, but they were a bit of a rabble at the time. It's just hang fire and you will go to one of the very top clubs, and that's where it's ended up. I feel like with him, he could go and play for City or Real Madrid or something like that. I genuinely think he's that good.
Yeah, I do as well. I completely agree, and I think I think we'll sell him for somewhere around 50, 60 million, unfortunately. I think that's what will happen. The club should put the foot down and keep him for another year, like you say. So he's got his pick, more or less.
Yeah, I think that's the unfortunate thing. We're going to be held to ransom, aren't we, given our financial situation, really? I mean, the club themselves, whoever's in charge or whatever's going on there at boardroom level, thinking, do you know what, we've probably already told him where he's going to go. We probably already sent notes out to various clubs saying he's for sale here, and let's have let's have a bid more for him. In regards to what he's worth compared to what we get, you probably, I think you're just about looking at least 60, 70 million quid.
What he's worth, or we'll get.
What he's worth, sorry, yeah, I agree with Les. I think it's really, I'm nearly crying saying this, but I think you're looking at around 50 million. I think that's what we'll get. People listening to this will be female, but please take into account we're talking about what we think we get, not what we think he's worth. Yeah. And Everton, I think that goes for everybody else. Everton selling a player this summer, you're not going to get what you think players are worth, and he's at the top of that list. With him as well, it's interesting you talk about the Euros with him too. I could easily see him going abroad as well. I could see.
Well, Ancelotti obviously knows about him, doesn't he?
Of course, yeah.
So the only thing of Madrid is the signing of Mbappe and Endrick and Alphonso Davies this summer. So
yeah,
they might not have to spare cash.
I don't know, mate. Nacho still gets a game, doesn't he? Do you know what I mean?
He's retiring as well.
Oh, is he finished? But there you go, mate. There's a spot there, but look, he could play anywhere. He could go anywhere. I don't really care, to be honest with you, because if he's going, as long as he doesn't go to them over the road, which I've been talk of, which again would make me cry even more. It doesn't just get the biggest fee that we need from him. Because look, let's be honest, he is not going to stay. I think the three of us can ultimately agree categorically he's not going to be in Everton. He's not going to be an Everton player in the next 2 years.
Of him and Onana, yeah, next 2 years. But of him and Onana, I would be. I think Onana's the most likely to leave out the two of them this summer.
And I'm more than happy with that. Yeah, I am absolutely happy with that.
Yeah. Stay tuned to the midfielders episode next week. But obviously, Jared Bradway, keep.
Preferably keep.
Get rid. No, seriously though, if someone came in, I don't know, well, but like, I don't know, upwards of 80 million, would you still keep it?
I still wouldn't want to cash out there,
Would you not?
I wouldn't want.
And we were able to spend it.
I'd want to hold on another year. I think he could be worth more, and I think he could be worth a lot to us next season with that partnership with Tarkowski. We talk about Pickford winning those points. That lad adds as well, and I just think.
Started scoring goals last few weeks as well, hasn't he?
Yeah. Great goal at Brighton as well, didn't he? That peach he scored then as well. But I think you're right, because looks like sadly it'll be another relegation fight. So you desperately need him. And what I really love about him as well is he's completely embraced with what Everton have been, even though we've been absolutely garbage for 99% of the time. He's properly embraced Everton. You look at the celebrations, everything like that. He's fantastic. And I don't know what, you say something nice about the academy because it's been disgraceful in recent years.
Well, unbelievable scouting whoever picked him up from Carlisle.
Brands, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
But the one small thing I'd put in the sell column, and people might give me grief for this, and I'm not saying he's anywhere near like these players, but I remember us having conversations about Holgate after his good season, and Godfrey, we'd spoken about after their good season, being like, these lads are going.
Brendan Galloway as well.
Brendan Galloway to the very top, and playing in the Premier League as centre half is fucking hard. It's really difficult. And I'm not saying he is obviously miles better than any of them, but he could easily have a ropey second season and we could end up, being like, wow, where is he, etc., in the pecking order. So there could be an argument to say that his value now, if he gets to the end of the season, if he goes to the Euros and doesn't play, and doesn't, potentially get exposed by amazing centre forwards, that it could be a good time to sell. But listen, it's all going to depend on who comes in with what. But that's not to say I don't think the lad is amazing. He is comfortably a better prospect than Godfrey, Holgate, etc. At any point.
Just on the point you made there, the opposite side of that, I would say that he doesn't have. There's no part of his game, his attributes that could be poor. I don't think if he was to have a poor game, I still think he'd be brilliant in something else that he does, if you get what I mean. I can't remember, there's a game, certainly in the last few weeks, in the last, I don't know, in 10 games or something, where people were saying, oh, we should have got that. Was it Bournemouth when Coleman's chest goes in there? It might have been along those lines where there was a sort of...
He got skinned by Haaland, and then he sat him on his arse, didn't he, in the Newcastle game as well.
He was Chelsea, but then everyone was.
Well, I tell you, any defender in the world in years gone by could get skinned by Haaland. I think you'd have to eliminate him from any player being skinned by that fella. But I just think he's got too many things that he's too good at, where you'd see him flop at any point at any club. So it'd be really, really gutted if he goes, particularly this summer. I'd love to see him going out to that new stadium as well. I'd love to be watching him coming out.
Off his armband on.
Oh yeah, I mean he's not far away from that either, is he?
Yeah.
To be honest.
Is this when we play Man City on the opening day? Is it? He's rocking up for that.
Can you imagine Man City starting against us with him and Stones centre half?
They've got too many left centre backs as it is already.
Still probably think they're going to sign him though.
But Palace just made it 2-0. Bloody hell. We'll rattle through the last two anyway. One is contentious, one is not. Michael Keane, Les. I don't know. I just don't like. We've not seen him for months. He came on and played centre forward the other day. He's probably got. I think he's got a year or two left on his deal. One of those again, similar to sort of all the players you mentioned. If we got a good offer, then you probably say farewell. But with Brownplay potentially going, with our options getting limited elsewhere, it feels like he's going to stay, doesn't it?
It does. I really like Michael Keane. He's such
as our third choice of striker.
Basically, first choice striker.
No,
he's just so hapless, isn't he? It's like if anything's going to go wrong for a player, it will go wrong for him. But he's a very honest footballer, just at times not a very good one. So I don't know. I think Man United's keeper.
Tell you what.
Wait until you see next week.
There'll be people who are thinking, which one did you mean?
I think given the position we're in, the money we potentially get for him, like who comes in for him? The only way back I can see for him leaving Everton is if he goes back to Burnley. They're not going to pay his wages. Haven't been relegated. If they get relegated,
they're like playing out from the back team.
So they're not that sort of team now, are they? They're not the team they were. I would say keep, because although he's been dropped, he's not agitated for a move, and I think that kind of says a lot in the position we're in, that we've got a player who, I'd say 7 times out of 10 he'll do a decent job, and he just had these brain farts, doesn't he, like the handball and stuff like that. 5, I was being generous there. 5 out of 10. But if you can drop him in every now and then and he does all right, I just think given the position the club's in, he's an experienced defender. He's not the best, but keep him in his big boot.
I don't think we have any choice, because Branthwaite goes, he's going to be playing. I have sympathy for him in a lot of different ways. Probably all to do with things that aren't as a football player.
He's like enough. He's been here like 9 years now, isn't it? Like,
do you remember when he first signed? I was like, he signed a top class £30 million defender here. We're going to be boss with him. He's just going to keep clean sheets for us for fun. Which never happened.
Has he had a good Everton career or a bad Everton career?
Immediately people are going to say appalling Everton career.
Appalling is harsh.
It is harsh. I mean,
I think he's been
He's done all right.
I'd say it's been like 40% good, 60% bad.
I think he's going to be remembered more for the goals he scored than the defensive displays, isn't he? I think there was the one against Spurs, which was vital, and there was obviously the one against Palace. Yeah. So for things like that, I think he's going to be remembered more.
He scored twice against Liverpool as well.
Yeah, he has. Yeah. So, he's done okay, but for £30 million, when we paid £30 million for him, you wanted more, really, didn't you? As Dave said, thought he was going to be top class.
I'm glad this is at the end of the podcast, because anyone here saying yes, stay, I think they would have turned it off if it was any earlier. But no, I mean, I think.
Well, we're all going to say keep, aren't we?
You have to. I don't think there's any other option, because who else is there to play instead of him? You spoke about Godfrey being quite versatile, but who else can you put in alongside Tarkovsky if Branthwaite goes?
Who would you be playing out of those two centre half? So, like, say we've got a game tomorrow, Keane or Godfrey?
I'd last Keane in.
Yeah, I think I'm Michael Keane as well. I think Godfrey at fullback.
Yeah, I think you lads are right there. Because look, it's his natural position. As much as we criticise and laugh at him, it's his natural position there. I think he's just about being more trustworthy than Godfrey because he's a versatile right and left backs. Don't include him as a centre back. That's why Keane plays.
So we're all on the Michael Keane bandwagon for another year.
Yeah, and thanks for listening.
Yeah, well, the last one, and he's our only left back, is Mikolenko, and obvious one this, but
Ashley Young's in there.
we've only talked about him, haven't we? Now
Not as a left back. We
We're
didn't.
getting rid of him,
we can't do another Ashley Young segment.
No, hang on. You get rid of him because he's a right back. You go back in and sign him up as a left back.
We'll keep the. It's like Pistonia all over again. Then. We'll keep the right back version of Ashley Young with the left back version of Ashley Young. You're going, mate. You never play that.
Young's woeful as a right back, but he's like Valente as a left back.
But Mikolenko, Les, I mean, amazing turnaround, great season, probably one of our top 3 players of the year. No way he's going anywhere, surely, this summer.
Absolutely not. No, he's one of those players where he's probably gone under the radar with a lot of clubs, so he's not one clubs would be sniffing around necessarily, but he's been brilliant. I am so happy to have been proven wrong about him this season. He's been exceptional. He's just a very good, solid fullback, which is just what you need in your defence. I know he's injured now, but he's one of those players who will play most of the season for you. Yeah, key. Got to be a key.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been my player of the season, by the way, by country mile. Many might disagree with that, but I think he's been exceptional. He's been
Brathwaite.
Well, no, because he's going to go. So
that's excluded from any player.
Yeah, exactly.
Goal of the season against Liverpool or Brighton is not allowed because he's going to leave in the summer.
I was trying to get past that with thinking I forgot about him, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, I'm still keeping him as my player of the season. Given there's a lot of circumstance around him, given what's happened at home and things, which is still happening now. You think about the mentality you've got to have to produce what he has as a Premier League left back. Also think he's probably underrated in terms of going forward as well. He can whip a ball in. That fantastic goal he scored against Leicester is always still in my mind from a couple of seasons ago. And like you say, I think it does him an injustice to say there's nobody else who could come in, because he'd still be considerably above anybody else as left back. I put him up there in what you get against Premier League clubs as well here, because I haven't seen him play poorly. The one thing that comes to my mind, which I know various Reds listen to this, they'd be asking what am I talking about here, as will many Blues. When we played Liverpool at Anfield and lost that game 2-0, Salah scored both the goals, and he was marking Salah. He was marking Salah. Well, I know. Yeah, he was. Yeah. Well, no, more to the point with that. At Anfield, he was exceptional.
Yeah, he was
against Salah. Actually go and watch the game before you think I'm chatting absolute shit about this, but he kept him quiet all game long.
Yeah.
Didn't give a sniff either.
No, and he had one leg as well, and just decided to get up and carry on running with it in his hand. I mean, he's somebody that's so essential you need in a difficult situation, which for 99% of our games it is, so absolutely keep.
Also a potential centre-back cover as well. He can play on the left side, centre-back, so keep defo.
Brathwaite's gone.
I think apart from the goalie, he's probably the player you'd look at and go, he's hardest to replace in our squad. I'd say, in terms of, there was nobody else. You haven't got another left-footed. Probably Brathwaite's probably our second best left back, isn't he?
I'm striker.
Yeah, so keep. There you go. Let us know what you think about that. Anyway, we've done the entire defence. Mason Holgate's coming back as well, but let's not go there. He's not an Everton player at the moment, so but let us know your thoughts on all that. The Patterson one in particular is really interesting. Ashley Young as well. Obviously, Seamus Coleman. So give us your thoughts on all that. If you watch us on YouTube, do like, do subscribe, do leave a comment. It all helps. If you're listening to us on usual podcast feeds, do leave a rating, do leave a review. These things are so helpful to us as we're trying to grow. But cheers to Dave, cheers to Les. That has been Blue Monday. That has been our review of the defence and goalkeepers. We'll be back again next week to go through the midfielders. See you then. Up the Toffees.